Thank you for joining our webinar today, where we will be providing a much needed overview of how licensing for the Microsoft Project Suite works. My name is Annie Levand, and I'm with a Microsoft Gold partner called Projility. We've been implementing Microsoft project and portfolio management solutions for over 18 years for large enterprises, including everything from engineering, construction, IT, and new product development. PMOs and CIOs typically come to us when they can't easily explain what's going on across all their projects. They don't know what resources are working on what work, and they have a hard time getting consistent reports, metrics, and dashboards to make project-based decisions. We're known for having a 98% on-time, on-budget track record for successfully implementing these solutions for clients. We offer services and solutions in 3 core areas: deployment and consulting services, Projility's core business. We provide professional services for successfully planning and implementing Microsoft Project Portfolio Management, including Microsoft Project Online, integrating PPM with a line of business applications, and delivering strategic portfolio management solutions to support top-level management planning. We also have a growing Microsoft Power Platform practice where we are actively working with clients to build applications, workflows, and reports to automate their most important business processes. Projility also provides a set of pre-built software solutions and accelerators based upon 18 years of experience, including a set of Hammerhead products that provide improved access to your cloud PPM data, accelerate access to visual reports and dashboards using Power BI, connect data between your PPM system with Microsoft Teams, and extend connectivity into Active Directory to improve visibility, insight, and control over your work, people, and projects. Later this month, we will be launching our own Microsoft platform-based PPM solution, Projility PPM. Look for more coming on that soon. Finally, Projility provides post-implementation support services, including expert care, designed to assist your PMO with gaining on-demand expertise on the solution supported. We have a full online automated e-learning offering that can improve consistency and adoption for your users of project management tools. We have upcoming webinars covering sessions on best practices for project and PPM processes and tools. All virtual webinars will start at 1 p.m. Eastern. You can register for these events through the Eventbrite link provided or by searching Eventbrite Projility in your browser. Hope you can join us for these upcoming sessions. All videos from this and previous series are available on our best practice playlist on YouTube listed on this page. Topics range from managing your digital transformation program using PPM technologies to integrating PPM with agile and line of business applications. Feel free to subscribe and access this library at any time and share with your colleagues. If you have questions as you watch the presentation, please log them in the questions and answer manager at the top of your team screen, and we will review those towards the end of our session. With that, I'll hand the presentation off to Rob Hirschman, partner here at Projility. Rob, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Annie. And today we're going to be focused on a topic that is much needed and much requested by lots of clients. How does Microsoft Project Licensing work? So we're going to start out and give you a little bit of an overview of the platform and the different options there are from a tools perspective and services perspective. We'll flow that right into the different licensing around the different products and services that Microsoft provides and answer some questions for you. So if we look at what Microsoft offers in the Microsoft Project family, there's really 3 distinct types of components or software that are provided. Starting at the far right, if you're working in a PC-only environment where you want to install software on your personal computer or multiple PCs and you want to work standalone from a project management, planning, and delivery perspective, that's where Microsoft Project Standard is the right fit, your traditional Microsoft Project desktop client. When we move to more of an on-premise or a group collaborative or enterprise environment, this is where there's something called Project Server Subscription Edition, which has a couple of different components ranging from the Project Professional desktop client to the Subscription Edition server product to the Project Server, what we call Client Access License, which gives access to users who are not project managers into that Project Server Subscription Edition server. That server can also be hybrid cloud, which means it can be installed in your Azure tenant or it can be installed on-premise. So you have deployment options there. That is the on-premise version of Microsoft Project. And finally, from a cloud services perspective, where Microsoft has been headed for many, many years, there are different offerings. There is Project for the Web, the lighter project management tool. There is Project Online, Microsoft traditional PPM tool. And there are licenses, plans 1, 3, and 5 that support multiple scenarios with the 2 services above that. And this is more of a software as a service subscription model with an easy technical deployment, and then you go down the road of deployment, training, and support. So when you think about it, the first thing you want to think about is, what is our scenario? Are we standalone PC only? Are we looking for an on-premise or a hybrid cloud solution? We're looking for a pure cloud-based solution. That will drive you to the different solutions and software you're going to be purchasing. And when Microsoft looks at the different services they offer through the Office 365 cloud, as well as in a hybrid cloud environment, they tend to look at it in the chart on the left. Who is the user on the bottom? Is it an information worker looking to collaborate and share tasks and activities? Is it more of an informal or business project manager, someone that works in the business, has to manage projects, but doesn't have project management in their background? For instance, they're not a PMP, they don't work for an IT organization, they don't work on large projects or programs. There's a use case for that that's developed over the last 6 or 7 years in industry, and Microsoft has a product for that as well. And finally, for your PMO, which has dedicated professional project managers, resource managers, team members, there is a solution for that as well. Kind of starting at the far bottom right, you look at Microsoft Planner, which is Microsoft's work management tool for visualizing your work in a Kanban-like method. It is delivered through Office 365. It is pure browser-based. It has a Kanban board or visual experience, and it has a familiar task management engine behind it. But when you start looking at structured projects with tasks and activities and relationships, it's not really the right tool for the job. That's where Microsoft has one of the solutions above that. The first service above that is called Project for the Web, which is Microsoft's visual, lightweight, web-based project management tool, really designed for that casual business or informal project manager. Project for the Web is built on something called the Microsoft Power Platform. It has a database behind it called the Dataverse. It has a dynamic, pure web-based interface. It does not interface with the Microsoft desktop client from a day-to-day perspective. And it's really designed to do lightweight or medium-sized project management. The entire service is delivered through the Office 365 cloud. Finally, if we look at the top, we have Project Online, which was Microsoft's full project portfolio management engine, and then its cousin, Project Server Subscription Edition, or SE, which is the on-premise or hybrid cloud version of that, built on a SharePoint platform with a SQL Server database behind it, traditional PPM experience. It's software as a service, a lights up subscription service in Project Online for PPM. Project Server SE gets installed again on your servers or in Azure cloud as well. More of a traditional PPM experience you would have, integrates with the Microsoft desktop client from a scheduling and project management perspective. Full set of professional tools. So it really begins with the question of which solution are we deploying? Is it one or multiple solutions? Who is the internal customer or constituent for these? And what role do these people need to do? Are you supporting in the enterprise? That's going to lead to the right licensing for the different scenarios you're going to be supporting. So if you just look at what is the right tool for the job, you really have to back up to what is the right service, what is the scenario, and then drive to the tool and the licensing in this order. So let's talk about some of the options. When we talk about desktop only, there are multiple solution options here, and the licenses are going to vary. The first one, if you're working on Project Desktop, you're installing the core software on your desktop. The first option is on the far right of the last diagram, the Project Standard 2021. This is the dedicated license to build and manage project schedules or your work breakdown structure, your schedule, your work plan, your tasks, track and manage resources within that schedule, and deliver reporting directly from that schedule. But there's no need to share this information and data with anybody in an online way through a browser or any other way. Meaning, if I wanted to share that data, I would have to either ship them a file or export the data to a PDF, Excel, or a Visio. That license is Project Standard 2021. If we move to Project Professional 2021, that is really the more professional enterprise version of Project on the desktop. It does the same project scheduling and management. It also adds some additional advanced resource management and reporting capabilities, as well as the ability to do agile project management in the tool as well. Those are some of the differentiators on a standalone basis. It does include those different capabilities that are built in, and it can be used, importantly, in connection with a on-premise or a hybrid cloud solution to do group, collaborative, or enterprise project management. So if you're looking to just do desktop scheduling, where you want something installed on your PC and work with it, either Project Standard 2021 or Professional 2021 are the right licenses for the job. The next scenario is online services, which we went through a couple of slides ago. The first of those is Microsoft's Project for the Web, the lighter touch web-based project management tool delivered completely through Office 365. The core license for that is called Project Plan 1. And this is the license you're going to be using to view, author, and update your project. So let's say you're in the marketing group or operations group. You want to spin up a project, build a series of tasks, assign some people and do it, track and manage the information, do some reporting. Project Plan 1 is the right license for the job from a core scheduling perspective. Once you start wanting to use some advanced functionality, which Microsoft is starting to release now, some new stuff such as the assignment views or the goals in project, that's where you start looking at a Project Plan 3 license. additional functionality, additional licensing. But you can start with that plan 1 and see if you need any of the additional functionality. If you actually upgrade to the plan 3 license, you get that functionality with the tool. Anybody who's viewing a project schedule or a work plan through Project for the Web's web interface in Office 365, they actually only need an Office 365 license. They don't need a project plan license to access and view that data. They can even go in and update tasks on their project schedule, produced in Project for the Web by the project manager using an Office 365 license. There's a license now in Office 365 called Project for Office 365. It is completely free, and it allows those users to go in and view and update their information on projects. Later this year or early next year, we're going to see actually additional functionality released to integrate this data with Teams. So you'll be able to go into Microsoft Teams and update tasks on different projects, again, using the Office 365 core license. So additional value there for that. If you start moving to a broader based solution around Project for the Web, you go beyond building a schedule, you want to build an app. You're going to use the Project Power app for that, which is built in the Power Platform to extend that out to capture project metadata, anything beyond the schedule, issues and risks and deliverables and action items. You're going to build that from the ground up using either the Accelerator or what the Project for the Web, the Project Power app. And this includes up to 5 what we call custom tables of data. And a table is a series of fields of data that are delivered through a table coming out through the database that are viewable through that Power app. Then, if you're using the Power app, use that Plan 1 license. When you start expanding that application out beyond 5 tables, custom tables, between 5 and 15 tables, you need a Plan 3 license, and then over 15 tables, which is really for larger deployments down the road, that's where you need a Plan 5 license. But keep in mind, this is only for the planners. The people that are viewing and updating tasks and activities, looking at deliverables, looking at reports and things like that, they only need the Office 365 license unless they start doing other things in the tool. And that's why we say it's really dependent on the use case, the user roles, and what you're looking to do, whether you're going just to scheduling or you want to build a full solution. The licensing is going to depend a little bit. You may need to get some of those users a Project Plan 1 or 3 license, depending on how they're interacting with the data. If they're playing more than a team member role on a project, or if they're going in and updating certain metadata, again, we need to take a look at the specific licensing scenarios for that. Then we have Project Online, which is Microsoft's full PPM offering in Office 365. There are 3 licenses for this scenario. The first is Project Plan 1, or the legacy, what used to be called Project Online Essentials license. This is the team member license. This is the license for people who are tracking time, updating timesheets, doing collaboration, tracking issues, risks, documents, and deliverables, doing team member things on a project. They need a Plan 1 or an Essentials license. The Plan 3 license is the project manager license. That's going to give them access both to the desktop project client as well as the things they need to do in the Project Online service to do their jobs every day. The Plan 5 license is really for your directors, your portfolio and resource managers, people in the PMO that are doing enterprise governance, any kind of enterprise portfolio management, or enterprise resource management only in a Project Online environment. That's where those licenses are really relevant. And if you look at the licensing here, you're going to see a lot of crossover between what's at the top and what's at the bottom. And this is actually done on purpose. Microsoft's trying to simplify that and give you access to either solution, whatever your use cases are, with a single set of licenses. We get a lot of questions. Well, if I'm a project manager, but I'm a team member on certain projects, which license do I need? Always think about it as the highest level license you're ever going to attain from a role perspective. So if I do project management, but I also am a business analyst, I want to get the project manager license. If I'm a portfolio manager, but sometimes I manage projects and sometimes I play the role of a team member, I want to get the Plan 5 license because that gives me the highest level functionality I'm ever going to need. So think highest level functionality, 1 license per user. A user is never going to need more than 1 license. So that's the online services licensing. We go to more of a server-based licensing where you're deploying it either on your enterprise servers in your data center or maybe in a hybrid cloud environment where it's maybe in an Azure cloud. That is where Project Server Subscription Edition, or SE, comes into play. This is the full PPM tool, just like Project Online, and the user licenses are pretty similar. Your end users are going to get what's called a Project Online Essentials license if you're cloud licensing the users, or a Project Server CAL if you're doing pure on-premise licensing. You can choose one or the other. You're going to get a Project Plan 3 license if you're licensing through Office 365, or that Project Professional license we talked about in 2 slides ago. You can get that license for your project managers, the ones that plan and manage projects. And finally, you have the option of getting either the Project Plan 5 license, which is again for directors, portfolio and resource managers in the PMO in a PPM scenario, or what's called a Project Server CAL, Client Access License. So think of it as you've got 2 different licenses, but if you cloud license those versus on-premise licenses, you can always purchase licenses in the cloud and convert them over to on-premise. Additionally, because you're going on premise or hybrid cloud, you're going to have to purchase some server licenses. There will be a project server license, subscription edition, a SharePoint server subscription edition license, and then a SQL and a Windows server license. Some organizations that are very much into controlling their data, not wanting it to be in a software as a service application, they put project server subscription edition in their data center, or they put it out in a hybrid cloud. Other organizations go for project online. You have multiple deployment options. That's really what Microsoft provides, is similar technologies for different use cases with different deployment options as you need them. So this is a chart, and we'll send you copies of this afterwards. It really maps out the role on the left. Is it an executive, a portfolio resource manager, or you're a project or program manager in the green, or are you a team member? If you're going in the cloud, what is the SKU or the license you're going to need? Plan 531 Essentials, or on-premise, Cal and Server, Standard, Professional. Then the usage scenarios. What are you looking to do with the tool? And this is, again, really important to define how you're going to use the tool, because that drives what the right technology is and then what the licenses are. And finally, the user experience for PPM. Is it web browser and a rich desktop client, or are you just using a browser to interact with your data in some way? So again, start with the question, which solution are you deploying? What role do you need to support? And that will then drive your decisions and your answers. And again, defining the roles really defines which licenses you're going to purchase in which scenario. So if you can map it out, you can make it really, really easy. And thinking about that and coming up with solutions. The reality is you may have multiple scenarios in your environment. You may have lighter touch project management needs in the marketing and operations. You may have kind of traditional PPM needs. You may have lighter planner needs as well. That's okay. And it's very normal for enterprises to have multiple needs. You may be able to purchase similar licenses to cover multiple scenarios. That's the important thing. So some other questions and notes we've heard from a lot of our clients. One of the key things is we get a lot of questions, project licenses, they're included in our Office 365 subscription, right? Well, not really. They're not part of your core Office licensing. They're always an add-on. Just like your basic cable package is Office 365, your E385 project is kind of like HBO or Cinemax. Think of it that way. It's always additional licensing because Microsoft doesn't know how many users you're going to have in your environment that are going to do project management or play a role in a project. The exception to that, as we mentioned a couple slides ago, is team member access to project for the web to view and update task information. That is a core Office 365 license. That's a benefit you get by having an Office 365 cloud license. Another question, what about reporting? I want all this data to end up in Power BI. I want to report on it. You can certainly do that. There are great report packs out there from all the solutions we showed you. Reality is you're going to need a different license for that. Power BI licensing is always going to be separate from your project licenses. Now, it may be embedded in your Office 365 license if you have an E5 license or a G5, which is good stuff, but you're going to need some kind of a Power BI license for any user accessing data from project. Additionally, we get a lot of people that add additional products on top of Microsoft Project Server, Project Online, that do different things. If you're going to purchase those products, ask that vendor the question, what licensing do I need to support your specific solution? Some of them will actually require additional project licenses. Another one, for example, we have a connector between Microsoft PPM and Teams to automate the flow of data. That requires a Power Automate license and a Power Apps subscription. Now, it's only one for the administration of the tool, but you wouldn't have known that had you bought the product and say, wait, I need another license. So anytime you're going third party or add-on on top of your solution, definitely ask about what are the licensing implications of this, because it can change things. Additionally, any cloud licenses you purchase, Plan 1, Plan 3, Plan 5, if you decide to suddenly go, I really want to set up an on-premise environment or a hybrid cloud environment of PPM, I feel better about accessing the data or better control, or maybe you've got a group in your enterprise that wants total security behind it and they don't want it in the cloud like that. You go with a project server subscription, you can leverage your end user licenses for that. You just need the server licenses behind it. So Microsoft always gives you access to on-premise licenses when you purchase a cloud version of it. That gives you a couple of things. It gives you mainly deployment flexibility. So you can actually have a hybrid model where you have OpEx, all of your licenses through Microsoft, through the cloud, but you are actually deploying on-premise software to support specific requirements you have. So there's a lot of flexibility here. Additionally, a lot of folks buy Project Plan 5. Plan 5 in and of itself doesn't provide any more functionality than a Plan 3 license unless you have one of those services in place. Unless you're using Project Online, Project for the Web, or even Project Server Subscription Edition. You need that to get more out of Plan 5 than a Plan 3. Otherwise, it just makes sense to purchase Plan 3 licenses. Additionally, license pricing is going to be very unique to your organization. When you go to the Microsoft website, it'll show you $55, $25, $10. Those are out of the box if you were just buying off the website. For most of the public, that's what it's going to cost them. Because you're in enterprises, you're going to have a cloud subscription agreement or an enterprise agreement with pre-agreed upon pricing. And if you don't already have project on there, at your renewal date, you can add one of each license, and then you can true those up or put in reservations for future periods on those licenses over time at a pre-agreed upon rate. It's going to be less than what you see on that public website. Remember, retail prices on the website are the highest prices you're ever going to pay. If you're budgeting, figure those in, but you can get very direct pricing from your reseller on this stuff. Additionally, any clients that are in the EDU space, that's higher education, K through 12, you have very different pricing around this. EDU clients typically get Project Online Essentials licenses for free for everybody, as an example. Project Professional licenses are very inexpensive because of the nature of that business. So definitely look at your agreements, your relationship with Microsoft. That's really going to drive a lot about your licensing. If you do have additional questions specific to your enterprise and your situation, definitely feel free to reach out to us. But our goal today, again, was to give you an overview of some of the Microsoft project licensing to educate you on really what's possible, how the licensing works in different environments. Obviously, every organization is going to be a little different, but this really lays out all the available Microsoft project licenses available from Microsoft. So with that, I'm going to hand the floor off to Annie, see if we have any questions in the queue. Annie?
Thanks, Rob. It doesn't seem like we have any questions in the queue for now, but maybe we can wait a moment to see if any trickle in. Well, if we have no further questions, we will continue. If you are looking for further guidance on the Microsoft Project Suite or need assistance with implementation, training, or deployment services, do reach out. We have a set of solutions built on top of the Microsoft Project family, including a connector into Microsoft Teams, a data warehouse for broader enterprise reporting, and online e-learning to educate your teams. Reach out to info@projility.com and we'll set up time to talk. Thanks to everyone that joined our session today. We appreciate your time and we look forward to seeing you online for our next webinar. Have a great day. Thank you.